esteemed hero, Mikey De La Cruz, and his Italian accomplice and partner in crime, Lazzaro Limoncello. They were ascending in a secret elevator through the Radio Tower, located in Vladivostok. As a reminder of the Radio Tower, this is one of the key locations where propaganda is both created and transmitted across not only the Red Kingdom but the world. Uh, Political prisoners are held within its basement typically, and their confessions are filmed and then broadcast out, and then they're usually executed after you get as much information as you can out of them. However, um, there are certain, we'll say, powers at play. Mikey saw some of that earlier when a woman walked into traffic. There are other embedded operators or agents within the Radio Tower, and likely elsewhere in the Red Kingdom, in Vladivostok in particular. This is a very politically centralized event happening in this part of the Red Kingdom, because not only are there operations here, and the president of the Seven Nation Army post Valentine, not only are they all concentrated here at the moment, but they are concentrated here for the purposes of an exhibition, one that they just played out over the airwaves. Specifically, the execution of Doribo CEO Sonny Fortuna, who has been decapitated live on television. Sonny Fortuna was freed of his head and liberated of life. And post Valentine has declared that the same will be done to all traitors within the Seven Nation Army. However, it seems that the assassination operation continues almost as if planned. For those of you who already have characters here in the elevator, it'd be Dima and Nikki. Uh, you are, I would say, beginning to feel, let's say, feverish. Lazzaro Limoncello seemed to be pretty adamant about dragging the both of you along. And right now, the situation is pretty, we'll say, violent. You've seen people just get soldered, cut down, burned alive, that sort of thing. Lazzaro Limoncello begins to flip a coin. Looks like just a standard silver dollar, up and down with his thumb catching it in his hand. Before he turns to the two of you, and then once he flips the coin, snaps his fingers before it falls. And when he does that, you are activated. You are Puppeteer Nikki, and you are Dima Bogdanov. But you are not just those things. You are a class of samurai that has not yet been formally recognized or even introduced. You are ninjas, covert operators that are able to completely suppress their supernatural abilities, and even memories so that they can be activated in certain key areas or at certain key times. That is why I said it is better for this idea to be introduced in character. Now, I'm not going to make you go through the whole samurai creation process right now. Instead, we're just going to try to determine a few key points about how your abilities may work, even if it's just something simple. And then we'll probably give your stats a little bump for now. If these characters were to go on to be used again, they would probably be like fully statted out. Your sheet may not look exactly like a samurai's because you're not exactly a samurai. In the meantime, do you need songs that are about puppets?
I might.
You okay over there?
Yeah.
I think the idea of like a Muppet Ninja is just it's breaking her head.
A little
It's
bit.
just cracked it right open, much like a ninja will if you're not paying attention. Just karate
Sesame
chopped her.
Street's really got dark in its final season.
Let's say I did not prepare myself mentally for this.
I mean, if we're going to talk specifically about Sesame Street, Snuffleupagus, perfect assassin. Only Big Bird can see him. He may be a literal elephant, but guess what? Nobody can see him and no one knows he's there until it's too late.
I'm taking your life for the greater good of society, Big Bird. You'll never leave Samsara now. Your soul is condemned. You betrayed the shogun.
Hey, Oscar, why are you being such a grouch? Oscar? And there's just a note. It says "look up."
Yeah.
They open the trash can. It's a living. So he goes back into the trash can.
So basically, Nikki's character is absolutely unhinged.
Likely so.
Because they're already speaking through a puppet, and then
Yeah.
there's just a sleeper agent besides that.
Correct.
You've got Master of Puppets. You've got I'm Your Puppet. You've got Puppet Loosely Strung. I'm just looking down the list here.
Song.
Mm-hmm. Puppet on a String. A band called Meat Puppets. Don't think you want that one.
Oh my.
Oh dear.
Diva Puppet Boy.
Puppet Boy?
Master of Puppets. Oh, there's so many.
I know. Well, take a moment to think about it.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Dima, I'm guessing you would probably want something tiger related, right? You're kind of geared for tiger stuff.
Yeah, or Revolution. I didn't think this deeply. I can just fuss over that for now while you get Claudia set up, I guess.
I got a good one. There's a song called Stripe Rhythm.
I was gonna say I fought the law for the most like on the nose version.
Yeah, those are both pretty good.
Like I said, don't worry too much about what the ability does. If it comes down to it, you can just randomly generate something and run with it if you'd like. Till then, I'm just going to give you all extra aspect. Well, two extra aspects. You'll have obviously one for your class or what you are, and then one for your sword.
Class?
Well, yeah, because they're not just people; they're samurai. If you've never noticed, actually, every samurai and merman has like a racial aspect or a class aspect, something like that. For samurai, it is pretty stock standard, but it is actually something you can evoke at any time. I don't know that anyone has. Um, like for example, on okay, for samurai, it's immortal soul, strengthened in battle, one with your blade. Those are all aspects that you can invoke at any time. They all mean stuff too. Like for example, strengthened in battle means the longer a samurai fights, the more ferocious they get. The longer the fight goes on, the deadlier it is for everybody. But for them, they get stronger. And something like one with your blade, for example, you could say like you're able to feel things, see things, hear things, even pick up on like motion through your blade. It's not just a separate tool that is you don't feel anything through. It's like a part of yourself, just like a stand is. And then they have an immortal soul, which means that um, even if they do die, they can still persist. Abilities can still persist. An effect or an attack that they were trying to accomplish may still occur. They aren't just killed when you kill the body. Their willpower can live on uh, occasionally. For mermen, it is a different set of racial abilities, as you can see on your own sheets. From Aqua, for example, we'll just open up Blues because she's the first one. You have Insane Regeneration. That one pretty much gets used pretty often. Nearly Unkillable, same-ish thing. Shapeshifter, you guys use that enough. And Aquarian Stand User for you in particular, because you are not using normal stands, you're using something new or evolved. But if you needed a thing to invoke, for example, let's say Enya just got shot in the chest with a cannon, point blank, you could easily invoke Nearly Unkillable or just your skull, but both even if you wanted to meet or exceed a contested roll to not only like basically face tank it, but not get moved or maybe get moved like an inch. That is entirely possible with rolls, invocations, and you know, good old fashioned superhuman physiology. Make sense? Stand users normally would have something like that too, but they don't really. They're not really a like the normal human stand users aren't really like a huge focus for this part. But in the original JoJo PDF, they actually all have those. Like the vampires and Pillar Men and a few other things have those kinds of like built-in aspects just for like what they are. Ripple users too, I think.
So what do ninjas?
Yeah, I think
Users?
and spin users
Yes.
because spin users, because I was looking at it not too long ago, but spin users have like they require tools and like finding the ratio and stuff like that. Like they're just always there, but they're not present on the sheet per se.
Do ninjas have to take on duels like samurai do?
No.
Nice.
They can
Perfect.
also change their drive or their high aspect as needed. They can fundamentally kind of like fuck with who they are thanks to programming, like in their head or the way that they've like conceptualized their sword. Whereas samurai are usually they're all just duelists. They like sometimes they act like asshole superheroes or mafia guys. Ninjas just kind of get in, get out. Sometimes just erase any like real knowledge of what they've done. Some of them don't even know who they're working for, and some of them do. But usually the way that it goes is if you were willing to take on this kind of like self hypnosis, it was probably for a very good reason. They don't tend to just mentally program themselves for fun or even just for money. Um, the only thing that you know is that you did it. You're the only one that could do that, and that you have a sword and you have a thing you have a mission that you need to accomplish once you're activated. That could either be something you do yourself, a self activation, such as leaving a memory, a an alarm on a phone, It could be something like programming yourself that once the clock hits a certain time, you wake up. Could be anything. Or you see a certain person that you're going to assassinate, then you wake up.
Okay, I see.
In this case, the trigger was coin flip finger snap. And in your particular case, you're not just a ninja working for anyone.
We're ninjas working for the Antichrist, apparently.
No, you're not.
Oh.
Right now, we're ninjas working for Rivers.
Oh.
Oh.
Surprise. I guess that makes Lazaro a little bit suspicious.
But yeah, he knew it. He knew the
trigger.
Rivers thing. Yeah.
Huh.
All right. Karadia.
Yes.
You have the opportunity to make a ninja here too if you want. Operators working for Rivers are kind of on their own, like they're not aligned with the Antichrist. They are aligned with Rivers. They're not aligned with any clan either. They usually are operating to make something happen or ensure something takes place. In this case, you think of it more like you're a Cold War operative that gets activated. That's kind of what's going on here. You're an asset. If you want to roll a ninja, you can make it very simple. I will just give you a minion character sheet with some of the additional info on it. You could also bring back a past character if you'd like, or if you have any character that you think would fit. Hard for me to say, but you have that option as well.
A ninja would be fine, I think.
Okay, let me just go ahead and give you the same kind of setup where you have a sword and you have a you're an agent of Rivers. In the future, in the same way that samurai have their own template, there will likely be one for ninjas as well. All right, let me give you your control over your sheet. It should be within your ownership now. And there you have it. If you need a picture, possibly just mid-journey it for you. Make a token very quickly. Okay. What does your sword do?
What?
You said your sword is going to turn every house into Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah. I'm just gonna start making objects come to life, and when you say the secret word of the day, I don't know. I don't know, man. Yes, Mikey. I don't know what I'm doing, so yes, that's what's gonna happen.
Yes. I want to sit here and have a long-winded conversation and watch everything in the room slowly come to life like a Disney cartoon and just be like, I don't know what's happening. And just keep, and another set of eyes open up on the stapler as I just like.
No, that is what's gonna happen. Yeah, no, I like it. I don't know. I didn't plan for this, so that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Well, because then we just have a small army at some point if we we unwillingly keep creating these tiny little lives.
I'm basically the opposite of Lazaro, who censors words. Instead, things get activated.
Yeah, true. If anything, yeah, you're trying to get people to say a certain word or phrase, which on a kid show especially, like, that's aces. Have every child in Russia chanting.
Crunching this salary. Okay. For the sake of gathering a group, do you have a clue as to what your character's a priest?
Yeah.
Okay. Then after you see that coin flip snap thing happen, Mikey, the elevator stops and a priest steps onto it once the doors open, and then the doors close again, which is obviously super fucking weird.
Yeah, because we're still going down, right? So,
No, you're going up.
oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, that is very odd.
Hi.
Lazaro looks at his watch after that happens.
Hello, child.
Mikey will kind of turn to Lazaro.
Do you know them?
In a way, yes, I do. I'm sure this is going to seem a little bit weird, but considering what we've been doing and the sorts of adventures we've been on, I'd say it's about normal.
No, I mean, kind of. I just, we have.
And he kind of looks back at Nikki and everybody else and just goes,
I mean, we kind of have a thing going on, so it'd be a little weird to just have a priest here.
Oh, he's with us.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Hi. What's your whole deal? I kind of know these guys, whether or not.
Don't ask them too many questions.
What? What? Wait, no, why? Okay, hang on. Now I have more questions, so I guess I'll just ask you. What is going on?
These are three are how do you say it? Sleeper agents. They have been activated to accomplish their task.
Okay. Okay,
And
yeah, that's why we tracked him down after the lady outside. That was
Mikey. Michael? I'll call you a Mikey.
Yeah, please.
What do you know about elves? Really?
I mean, in terms of them being a real thing, not much, because they're mostly seen as fantasy races, and it depends on who wrote them. Why?
It's a funny you mention it that way. They are a bit of a fantasy, I think. A horrible one. Like a dream you can't shake or a cold you catch. An elf is like a very weird thing that slips into forests or to homes or happy weddings, that sort of thing. There was a time when there were many of them, as far as I know. And then there was a time when there weren't so many. But strangely enough, it seems like we're in a time where they're going to come back in a big way. I am not working with the Antichrist, Mikey.
No, you basically just described every instance that Leroy's done something, especially with like the Cotton Eye Joe and that. So you're saying he's an elf? He's the elf king? He's the Earl King. I mean,
The
right.
Antichrist, as you call him. Let me ask you a real question, and I know you're going to have difficulty with it, but it should start an interesting train of thought. What if I were to tell you that you didn't know him? You've never met him. He technically doesn't exist, but the idea of his existence, his entire history, ever meeting you or talking to you, never happened.
I mean, there's, I mean, with stands being a real thing, the idea of like a thought form tulpa situation seems like it's not far out of reach. So I guess the just taking that out to like there being a like, I don't know, Antichrist like as an idea being real in both the idea and a thing or person representing it makes sense too.
Sure. Well, don't think about it too hard. That's actually one of the problems. You might, make it stronger. I work with an organization. I think you have met some people from it. Rivers. He kind of leans in when he says that.
He gives like a little nod. Like, yeah.
Unfortunately, for the moment, to ensure certain, how do I say this, narratives, we'll be needing to carry out this task regardless, but these men will be here to make sure that you get out alive. Even if I don't happen to make it. I'm dedicated to this. I do hate fascism, don't get me wrong. And dictators, I wish I could burn them all. Like, yeah, kindling. But there are bigger things out there, bigger fish to fry, which is why these gentlemen are here. Like I said, it's good not to ask them too many questions because we likely won't see them again, or if we do, they may be different. These are ninjas. I'll give you a moment.
Yeah, Mikey will turn and look at the tiger tracksuit wearing gentleman, the puppet and his tree, and then the priest who just stepped on and is just like,
Okay, I mean, you know, you guys are up for the task, and I mean, hell, I mean, my team is made up of fish people, so
Don't be
It's not-
alarmed when I
it's
tell
not
you
crazy.
this. There were actually more than one working in your police department.
Oh, is that why Harlan was here?
Oh, he's not one of them.
Oh, he's just okay. Well, I guess he's doing his own thing, which is fine.
It's really not. He's insane.
That doesn't. I see him. Well, I don't always see him, but I see him. That doesn't make me feel better.
It probably shouldn't, but don't worry about it too much right now. We're about to go take on a very sizable security force that is well armed and has great amounts of surveillance capability. These people here you'll be able to trust with your life. So, thank you all three in advance. Lazaro kind of like nods his head. It's like a slight bow.
The puppet bows back.
They took me up a hidden elevator. We could probably use it to bypass some security.
That was the plan. Lazaro starts to pull on what look like almost they're black latex gloves. Once we get to the top floor and start to do what we do, there's one thing that I think you should know more than anything else, detective. You have never been alone. Rivers has watched. That is true.
Oh, thank you. I guess. I hope.
We'll see. The elevator dings once it reaches the floor that is most certainly the one where Endaros is. And this is going to be the time when we take a moment to go over anything you need to go over for your samurai, ninja, rather. Um, so let's start real quick. Looks like Nikki just Activate a new puppet every time the daily trigger word is said. Well, that's pretty much what you said before, so that's fine.
Yeah. I have sent you the word of the day.
What about you, Dima? Do you have an idea?
I'm still playing with this generator. It'd be cool to like pick something related to like the name though. I listened to the song, I like it. No vocals.
What's your song?
Stripe rhythm.
Stripe Rhythm.
Yeah, it's very like energetic.
Well, yeah, let's take a quick look at a random power generator. That's the easiest thing to do. Let's see. So are you thinking of, I guess I have to listen to this song. Oh shit, it's got a lot of bass.
I know, I like it.
That's pretty good.
Like going by the name, I was kind of thinking maybe some sort of converting sound to light or vice versa thing.
Let's say, let's say you can pick two states of something and then cause them on contact with your sword to occur in a target that you strike with the blade. For example, you can determine hot and cold, and then if you cut a target, they will be hot and cold in strips, like freeze and burn. Or you could pick just two different things: electrified and I don't know, glassed, like turned into glass. So you basically are cutting stripes of like chemical or physical change through something, kind of like spreading out in the shockwave from your blade whenever you hit something with it.
That
Pretty good
sounds
for killing people.
uncomfortable.
It does. So just pick two states for your stripes, and then when you hit something, those stripes will spread through a target depending on how hard you can hit them, or how well you do in your roll.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Keep it simple. If you, yeah, okay. So, and then for you, what is the name of this priest?
Emery.
Emery. I see it now. Emery. Losing my religion. Nice. What kind of idea did you have for your blade?
I thought it was maybe like uh, phantasms, kind of like as the blade strikes, phantoms start appearing and striking. Kind of like it's like at first it's like one, and so it's like not difficult. Like you think it's weak, but then more and more phantoms just start springing up and
Are they
attacking.
are they phantasms of Emery or just kind of ethereal, faceless ghosts?
Um, they're kind of based a little bit on the target's fears. So, like, if someone has a fear of, uh, I want to say like blood, the phantom takes on like a bloody appearance or things like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll work with it. Yeah, where were they? Yes, technically here. Everything worked out for the Reyes fight. These guys were fine. Okay. Then, in that case, if you have a basic idea for how your abilities work, Once the doors open, the three of you will have to work through 3 different quadrants to accomplish your goal of taking out key security agents. You're ninjas, so you probably already have the code or the blueprint of the floor somewhere on yourself. Could be a tattoo, could be you etched it into yourself, could be a rolled up receipt or something, could be anything. What's a way that Dima would have had the blueprint prepared? Yeah, it could be inside the puppet very easily.
Tattoo sounds kind of fun, but a little intense.
It could be
Yeah,
like
Dima.
you could be a siren tattoo that's changeable, so you can like take off your shirt. It's neon like a tiger, and then you like switch it like with a button. Because I mean, we're in the future, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty cool. Plus, you show everyone that way real quick.
Okay. Go ahead and add to your sheet somewhere aspect. I'll add it for you. You have a programmable tattoo. It's probably useful for more than this. What about you, Nikki?
With a. Do I also have a blueprint?
Yes, all 3 of you have a blueprint in case any one of you couldn't make it to this point.
It probably is inside the puppet, if I'm honest. It just
Okay.
like I imagine the puppet opens its little mouth and goes bleh, and a little like blueprint falls out.
You have an aspect added to your sheet. Secret puppet compartment.
Okay.
And then where would your priest Emery have? And also, what kind of is there a quick physical description you want to give of Emery that I can make with Midjourney real quick?
Probably like he's just an old man. Probably has glasses and kind of probably has a rosary bead around his neck. I imagine the rosary bead is actually the programmable part that kind of gets into his skin. It's kind of like an implanted rosary bead.
All right, let's see what Midjourney spits out with this. On top of what these guys are going to be doing to carry out their plans, Mikey, you were kind of the crux of this entire operation. This is a surveillance versus surveillance thing. So as Lazaro would either explain, or you might even be able to just tell, like, you have 3 travelers, 3 orbs. There are 3 operatives here. You will be needing to provide advantages or spot threats before they occur. Yes.
Great. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, yeah, you guys are all going to have a little buddy, except for Nikki, who's going to have another little buddy.
Of course, Nikki would have the littlest buddy.
So yeah, I feel like he would go,
All right. I mean, if we're gonna get close, or getting close to the point,
and he'll kind of like, I guess he's probably still wearing his like jacket. No, he's probably wearing a different jacket. I don't think he'd be wearing his Guam PD jacket.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, seems a little obvious. Yeah, he probably like slides his jacket down past his shoulders a little, and then will lean forward, and then the branches of coral will kind of bud out, and 3 little seedlings will drop and start to spin in the air in place and make themselves comfortably close to you. They'll probably just float around your head for a little bit, as they just kind of spin around you.
all right, I've got eyes and ears. They can't really talk back. It's not a two-way system, so just know I'll whatever they see and you guys kind of see, I'll see too.
Man, this mid journey makes some real weird. I'm not sure how old Emery is, but it doesn't matter because
I was gonna say old man cyberpunk.
I guess I could add cyberpunk to the keywords. Yeah.
Cyberpunk priest.
Yeah, cyberpunk priest. Like that shit.
That'll come up with something amazing.
You know that it's likely to go hard or bad. Just
Either way.
bad.
Some of the options it's giving me look really ridiculous. So because it is giving me old men, but some of them just look so weird. I guess we'll see what cyberpunk might be the key here. I guess to getting maybe a character look. I'm not going to be super picky about it though. So all right. With that in mind, the first one we'll go through is Dima. Dima, you are tasked with taking on the left sector. There are, according to your intelligence, the information that you brought in with you, there are 3 separate units of cameramen in this sector. They are guarding key, we'll say, servers for not just recording data, but making sure that it's stored securely. Taking down some of these data centers in this eastern sector are pretty crucial to crippling the monitoring abilities of the cameramen. You have a few options on how you can carry out your mission. As a ninja, how do you prefer to carry any mission out? How do you operate? You are tiger themed. I assume it just goes through who you are.
Well, we're trying to get these server shut down. What's the?
Yes.
Okay, and these 3 dudes are in the hallway on the way there.
Yes.
Hey man, just take these dudes out. Like, quietly and quickly.
Lethal force.
Yeah, this isn't like a precious thing. There are bigger things to do past this.
Okay, Mikey, give me a Wanderlust roll. Passive difficulty 4. Damn, you managed to meet it. So you can see actually that despite Dima's plans here and the way that they're moving, what they're setting up to do, there's actually a surprise 4th cameraman group. You have uncovered the total numbers of operators, which gives the advantage of now you are completely aware and they can't take you by surprise, Dima.
Okay, are any of them like isolated, or are they like in sets of 2?
It's likely that they will be isolated as they are going from point A to point B, trying to accomplish their task of, it looks like, backing up server information and making sure that all sectors are still in communication with one another. So they are kind of like milling about, recording and monitoring. Each of these 4 cameramen units will make their way, like, for example, it's like patrolling guards in Metal Gear Solid. Like, they'll see each other sometimes and then go into different directions.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Mikey, do you have any expertise that you can apply to giving Dima further advantage here. You had to deal with soft cell, who themselves were often infiltrators. Is there any previous experience that you might have with this sort of situation that could be applicable?
I think it would probably come from having to deal with like cybernetic people, like people with implants, things like that. I don't think that was probably as big a thing in Guam, or Mikey probably didn't deal with it as much, like physically just going toe to toe with enhanced individuals like that. And then like he had to go against soft cell in, I mean, not like in its entirety, but well enough. Especially because he fought Stein one-on-one, and it was, he's a long range fighter with his rifle, and Stein is very much close range. It was not a good matchup for him. So having to deal with that and like, being outnumbered, outgunned, but still pulling it off because he didn't die as hard as he thought he was going to.
Okay. In that case, give me a sniper roll with your stunt. Somebody's watching me. To provide more tactical placement of where Dima can hit. Oh, great! So you succeed with you succeed on that one. Dima, you now have, because of Mikey's coordination here and his ability to give you more intel, especially because he's already taken down one of these guys. They have weak spots on their periphery, although they have very good forward facing motion detection and other capabilities on the periphery, like the sides and back, obviously. They can sometimes have big blind spots, which is why they're walking around patrolling and looking at one another's occasionally.
So it seems like just sneaking up on one of these guys a little at a time might be the clean way to go about this.
Yes. So go ahead and give me. You are trying to pass a difficulty of 8. Give me a force roll, please.
Oh
You,
boy.
you do have 2+2 scene aspects you can invoke. So really, what you're trying to get here is a 4. And then you can invoke their peripheral blindness and their revealed numbers.
Man,
Would you like to re-roll it?
Yeah,
The fate point.
start with that. Reroll.
What are you going to invoke?
My life for the resistance.
Right on. Go ahead and give me the roll. 3.
Better.
You're just 1 short. You could spend another fate point and just get there. Or you haven't added any stunts to your sheet.
I'll just spend the fate point.
You sure? This could be a good time to create a stunt real quick. For example, when using force to take out other operatives, gain a bonus of +1, +2, something like that. If you have prior information provided to you.
See, I was gonna joke that Dima should have a stunt where they get a bonus if they're dealing with any kind of like fascist, and that the joke being that like it was kind of, it didn't have an upper limit, so the more fascists are around, the more +1 it gets. Kind of like it was gonna be busted as hell, and I was gonna say it as a joke, but if we're talking about creating a stunt to take out these
Just
watchmen, essentially,
one man the entire 7 Nation army.
yeah, essentially, yeah.
W-
Run into somebody in the 7 Nation army, and the stunt won't work because they're not a fascist.
That's like a cool hero stunt, and also it's super exponential.
Yeah, that was why it was gonna be a joke that like, oh yeah, just give them. We have somebody who can make an infinite number of puppets as long as we say the right word too many times, and then just somebody who's like, oh, fascism, and just buffs out.
Stick this shit on Anya, man. Yeah, Tim, if you're offering, I'll take
Yeah,
the stunt
I added it.
suggested.
So the way it's worded is, with prior knowledge of an area and a situation, receive a +2 to force rolls as long as you know, as long as your goals are known.
Dope. Okay.
Oh, who do we lose?
Oh, it looks like we lost Claudia.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Stay back.
Well, yeah, because the part of the reason why I thought of it too was because of Wildside's luck thing. Because I was like, I didn't put a cap on it. Let's just do wrestling. I was like, yeah, too many fascists in a room. Good.
I thought about that, and I also thought, man, he'd still get fucked up though in the wrong. Like, he could bet wrong and get wrecked real bad on like a 12 or 14, and then he's like, I got a +2 out of it. That's the easiest way to counter that if you ever needed
I know.
to.
I was thinking that also his sword was like the alternating pattern was electricity and maybe like lead. So comes down hard and also is shocking.
Okay.
It's just for the purpose of the scene, really.
Then that's what you see through one of your traveler's eyes, Mikey. You see this man who before was just this like kind of scared, unsure, and even confused tiger stripe suit wearing like gangster. Probably any guy you might see on the street, save for the clothes. Tear through these cameramen with such precision that you feel like you're watching something like a supernatural beast, like the tiger stripes on his back. Dima is hunting and killing these guys in really thorough fashion. The blade combination of the stripes just kind of cuts through parts of their physiology that keep them from activating communication, from even screaming. And sometimes, if they're completely unaware, they die without ever knowing who killed them. They never even get to see them.
Oh no, why is this. Why is my NPC cool?
Oh no. Next up, Nikki.
Yes.
What you working with, buddy? How do you use your puppety ninja skills here?
Well, I imagine they could actually the puppets, if they are activated, can roam around free.
Nice. What's the secret word? You got to tell me.
I did send you the secret.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a secret word if we all know.
Obviously.
So whenever someone says that word in this building, I guess a puppet is activated.
It's a good one because a television begins to play of it's a recorded, a previously recorded program of Quali BC. There are apparently reports that Quali BC will not be available to perform, so we're going to have to go through older footage and then splice in new footage with some deep faked animation and, made up voices on the spot. Try and make a new episode of Quali BC. Go ahead and give me a monkey business roll real quick. Okay. So, one of the cameramen in your sector, you have 4 of them, but those numbers are known to you. One of the cameramen in your sector is watching this recording of Quali BC. He's not happy to be on this duty, but right now they're a little short-handed because of all the festivities going on and the big event with the CEO of a big corporation being killed. You can hear him actually say, "Ugh, we really have to play this episode again. This kid's brains are going to rot. D-Rad, who gives a shit? Even with the pills, everything they eat and drink is poisoned unless they got the good stuff. D-Rads they're getting are nothing more than placebos. Would even be better if they just didn't have D-Rads at all. That way they could die quicker. instead of growing up to be these miserable pieces of shit working in the dockyards with 20, 30 pounds of dermal implants weighing them, making their skin sag. Most of them can't even afford the D-rads that they do get. They have to go into debt. Probably the Dorabo or something like that. I'll tell you something. He looks to his buddy next to him. If it were up to me, I think I'd put poison in every single D-rad. Just let the rats drown. Oh, Mikey, your wanderer hears something from Puppet Nikki on their end. Puppet Nikki, what does your sword look like?
I just assumed it was my puppet.
Oh shit! Okay, your sword is the puppet.
Yeah, the little one. Little.
Okay, this is even funnier because we gave the puppet a gun at the end of the last session.
We
so
did, yeah.
So you are holding your standing blade, and your
Yes,
standing
yes.
blade is holding a gun.
Correct.
True.
Wow.
This is happening.
Okay.
So speaking of which,
And Dio thought he had it perfected.
Mikey, you can determine that something strange is happening here. Give me an understanding roll. Let's see if you can really narrow it down. One more point, you'd be able to provide a 2-point advantage, just like you did for Dima. The passive difficulty is going to be 4, though.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pay that. I'll just do a simple +2 bump.
What are you invoking?
I'll invoke being an Eye Scout. I think even with travelers, it's still, yeah.
Okay. Because you're an Eye Scout, and specifically because I'd say because of that feature, the things you've seen with travelers, you usually remember where placements are of objects, people, that sort of thing, geography. Parts of the room that Nikki is in have changed, as in objects have gone missing, and in particular, the gun that you gave to Puppet Nikki is also missing. You're becoming aware slowly that something is happening here. You're still not sure what exactly. Like, you as a person know exactly what Nikki's power is, but you as a character likely do not.
Yeah, Mikey hasn't figured it out yet, but yeah, I think Mikey knows that stuff keeps missing, and it's probably the stand. So just wait for whatever to happen.
Because of this now, it's going to put you on your toes, and you'll be a little bit more active with what you're watching and monitoring, because there's some kind of ability being used. So I'm giving the scene aspect scrutinizing monitor, which means you're just more amped up, we'll say, to watch and provide information and feedback. And can you think of another advantage that you may be able to give to Puppet Nikki based off of your experiences? Again, either fighting cyborgs or anything that Mikey's done.
I mean, I think with this, he would probably he'd probably think back to the like original sniper fight back in Japan, like being able to like set yourself up, like knowing that there is a target that has their gun pointed at you, but also knowing that, like, you have the numbers clearly, or maybe to strike back. It's just a matter of getting in the right place to take them out, which is exactly what we're doing.
Okay. Go ahead and give me another sniper roll then. Okay, you succeed on that. And then, how many fate points are you down to?
I paid 1, so I have 2.
Okay. Then Puppet Nikki, what are the objects that you animate in this office or in this floor? The we'll say it's the southern sector of this floor. Gun is obviously one of them.
Probably like a comfy seat someone's sitting in. Just like the table they're at, like just television, perhaps. Just like ordinary objects that are around the people that need to be restrained, basically. Just full Pee-wee's Playhouse's thing, I guess.
Yeah, the radio's alive. The chair is swinging its arms, and
Yeah. Well, you sit in the chair, and the chair just kind of engulfs you. You just get.
Oh my. I just wanted to sit down.
They do grow eyes, and
Oh my god, do they?
yeah, they do grow eyes. Yeah,
That's so puppety.
they will look at you. Yeah.
I want to know. Okay, I want to know. Are they like humanized? Like, do they look organic to where it's really unsettling, or do they just sprout googly eyes?
They
Like, is this?
googly eyes.
Like, is this a?
Okay.
Is this like an?
So,
Yeah, is this like an everything everywhere all at once situation of just googly eyes just spawning and just...
everywhere they all have their own eyes, but they're all very googly and puppety, and they like wiggle when they wiggle, the eyes wiggle. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. Then Nikki, you were going to give me a puppetry roll. You were trying to beat 8, just like Dima did. You have 2 invokes. That would put you at a 6. So if you spend 1 point to invoke off of your sheet, you will be able to pass it.
I will invoke doing community service.
Very good.
Hey, we're cleaning up the streets.
All of the puppets are trying to actively teach the people they are.
Oh, that's a little crazy.
Yeah. Or restraining.
Then what happens is one of the guards looks up or one of the cameramen looks up and sees a it looks like the propaganda poster of post Valentine looking back at him. And the poster says, "Hey guy, you look like you missed a spot shaving. Can I help you out with that?" And the cameraman looks back and forth. And then the propaganda poster unpeels itself from the wall and then flies down through the throat of the cameraman, decapitating him. And you hear the poster say, "That's how you're supposed to shave. Remember it for next time." Another cameraman is walking around the corner when a happy trash can just struts out with little stick legs and says, "Hi, don't forget to throw out your trash." It starts to do cartwheels. The cameraman panics, draws a gun, but not before the trash can latches onto his head, and starts suffocating him with garbage.
I would like to request that it makes nom 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 noises.
Oh yeah, it does, and it's
full Cookie Monster. Yeah.
I'm scared.
What a truly nightmare scene to see these like cannibalistic puppets just devouring and wholesale slaughtering people.
Yeah, this is the wrong tone.
What's the right tone? Hold on.
No,
This is perfect. Leave it.
This is it. Yeah.
the third cameraman walks into a room to see the fourth cameraman being held by a chair in a full Nelson while a radio whips itself across his head over and over and just says, "Kick out the jams! Kick out the jams! Here's the top hits of the 1990s. Hit number 1, hit number 2, hit number 3, hit number 4." It just keeps smashing him in the head. His camera rig harness is completely shattered. Both of them stop when the cameraman walks in and they turn to look at him. The chair just calmly lets go of the cameraman in its grip and lets his broken body fall to the floor, and then starts wheeling towards the remaining cameraman, who's backing out now, and desperately goes to try and ping his communication button. Before he can, the radio's plug impales through his hand and drags it down and starts to spin around him, tying him. The chair continues to wheel. The cameraman, seeing that he can't communicate and it seems like comms may be down, there's some kind of interference in the network, tries to make a run for it. He's about to make it to the fire escape. He's about to make it to the exit stairway. And then he hears a click, 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 click. I'm a 9mm, yes I am. A 9mm, I go in your hand, I go bang, bang, bang. The pistol jumps around the corner and just kind of waits there for a moment, spinning its googly eyes. Hey there, fella. Did you know bullets are dangerous? And it just starts firing off, pulling its own trigger and kind of spinning around as it does. The cameraman is just completely annihilated by the incoming gunfire. You did not do a quiet job, Nikki, but letting your puppets usually gets this sort of result. You have disabled all 4 of your sector's cameraman operators, but now the last sector may be on a little bit of an alert. They don't know why, but they'll be on alert.
Yeah, we can't just breeze by how fucked up that was.
Just screaming in the other room.
Yo, why was the pistol's little sing-song so catchy, though?
The guns are very dangerous.
They are. Don't play with them.
Yeah. I'm trying to teach you, yeah.
Yes, be very wary, children.
Emery, let me give you a token real quick, bud. And then we'll talk about how your priest takes out your sector's targets. I'm going to try to give you the most generic-y... Yeah, this will do. Let me give you this token. And so you've seen how the others have taken out their sectors. You are also dealing with 4 cameramen of your own. You are a priest who is, well, you're a ninja who's pretending to be a priest. How do you think you might go about taking out your sector's cameramen? There you go. You got a token now.
I kind of feel like since one of his aspects is violence is God's love, he did not come in here thinking he would take it out silent.
All right.
Probably very violently.
So extremely violently. Let's put on some extreme. This is not extremely violent music. I mean, maybe it could be. I don't know. All right. So, just like the others, you have 4 cameramen in your sector. Mikey, same rules apply. You can give 2 scene aspect boosts to this priest. Whatever you can think of.
Yeah, I mean, let me think. I mean, we've dealt with, all kinds of violence, so I feel like anything could count towards that. I would actually, you know what? This is a perfect time to remember about our fight with Millie and Vanilli, and specifically on like trying to overcome them and just the sheer like killer instinct and violence like that they have inside themselves, even though they're not, they don't come off as like extremely killer, cold-blooded murderous people. Like they're kind of jovial and they like to have fun with it, but those people will absolutely just wipe the floor with most anyone. So I think he thinks about that and like the application of it, and like, you know he probably hasn't put a lot of thought of it because we're doing an assassination right now to think about the crowns, but like there's always a back thought of like at some point we're gonna have to fight them and deal with them and deal with the Vici, and like, are we strong enough to do it? How do we get strong enough to do it? How do we because part of being an eye scout, like he has to analyze, he has to know, he's got to find a way to beat them and like do it in a way that causes the least amount of casualties, which
Okay.
means probably having to resort to a level of violence he probably isn't comfortable with, but will need to be.
Go ahead and give me a stare at the sun roll. You're trying to beat a 4. Want to re-roll it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Go ahead. Good. And what is a second aspect you feel you can give him? You are down to your last fate point.
I am. So with that, yeah, killing floor. I'm trying to think of what else we could do. I think it would probably be just like him being a priest, maybe not an actual priest, but at least pretending to be one on TV. Now, there's probably like the idea running through Mikey's head of like conviction and like sticking to your faith, and his seems to be violence, and so like that's something that Mikey and the other members of Aqua have done when we like specifically when we fought like Danny. We chose the land, not the sea. We made that decision and we've tried to continue to stick by it, so we're gonna keep doing that, which means dealing with the Antichrist and the president.
Okay. Give me a gaze roll. As you are thinking of all the different ways that you can help to coordinate Emery in his mission, not only do you realize that you know exactly what he needs to do and how he needs to do it to get through this and take these guys out. Rivers is maybe the strongest weapon that you have in the fight against Vici and the Antichrist. If you can have operators like this, if you could have teams, if you weren't alone, if there were other people who had a deep conviction enough to just dispose of any evil in the way that these people are, like the world may stand a chance of not being completely torn to shreds by two eldritch superpowers. All right. With that figured out, Emery, you said you're gonna roll. You said you're gonna do this like violent style, more or less.
Yes.
So give me a God's love roll, passive difficulty 8. Technically, you have enough fate points to just blow through that if you need to, or you can re-roll.
I feel like roll for one of them, please. Can't get worse.
All right. So you need one more point to pass with the scene aspects that you have. You are down to 2 fate points. You can either choose to use another fate point to pass, or if you can think of a stunt that would help you in this situation, I will allow you to create it right now because you don't have any stunts.
I imagine since it's going to be bloody and violent and its phantasms are going to be all over the place, that once he gets started on the violence, he just gets kind of in the beat of it. Like violence is like I imagine in his head, it's just a Gregorian chant of the screams are a Gregorian chant kind of thing, and he just gets really in the mood, and it's just like second nature.
So, like a religious fervor almost, a frenzy, a God fueled frenzy.
Yes.
Okay, I just gave you a stunt. +2 to God's love rolls where violence is the answer. In other words, when you're using God's love to do violence, you have a +2 to the roll, and in this case, that would mean you pass. These guys were all in a. It looked like they were in a corridor trying to come to respond to the weird sounds going on from the other sectors, and the fact that they couldn't raise them on comm. When they get to that sector, the door opens and you're standing there. About how long do you think it takes you to kill them all?
Oh God, I imagine. At first, he just kind of stares and starts rattling off a psalm, like I don't know any off my head, but just a relevant song, like, and then in the time that it takes to finish it, they are completely eradicated.
Okay. The first guy is being hacked to pieces by a phantasm made out of bees. The second guy is being cut down by a phantasm of a very pretty woman who's laughing at him as she's killing him. The third one is torn apart by a phantasm made out of a wild dog with a person's head attached to it. And by the time you get to the fourth one, the phantasm that comes out of them looks like you. You don't even have to do much because the phantasmal you is going to now just hack this guy to pieces. With that, all 3 of the sectors have been cleared, and that means that there is no longer a coordinated security network protecting Endaros, who is in a central office of sorts, a central room. It's locked up currently, under heavy locks, actually. But Mikey, you have the ability to send travelers through walls. So once all these 3 operatives are done with their work, you could recall them. You have a very good idea of where Endaros would be because it's the most heavily armored set of walls and doors in the building. Once you get your well, I assume you'd send, how many travelers would you send into the room?
I mean, I'd probably pull all 3 back if they did everything and nailed it. Then, I mean, he probably feels they don't need him at this point, having done the duty without any real assistance he feels on his part. Yeah, he'd probably just recall and drop all 3.
Okay. You're dropping all three into the room?
Yeah, he'd probably send them out, like to move, one left, one right, one like at his feet, like going under to feel the floor, and then probably have them alternating in a pattern so that he can feel around all the walls, the ceiling, the floor, and everything like that, and just constantly kind of moving themselves so that they don't stick around. Because because we know he can see through walls, and so I'm sure tiny little like hummingbirds essentially showing up out of nowhere, bouncing around, might cause some concern.
Okay, once you get those, once you get your travelers into the walls and sort of into this sanctum, it's a dark room with a single figure that's wearing a large set of those same tech goggles, similar model as the cameraman, watching a screen transfixed. The thing on the screen, you see you see a familiar face on the screen. It is the prince, with two very pretty ladies on each arm, and you can hear him saying, "This isn't going to be recorded or anything weird, right, Danny?" And you can hear a voice off camera saying, "No, no, no! Of course I wouldn't. You're in complete privacy. You have all of the trust that you'd ever need, my good sir. Go ahead, have as much fun as you like. And these ladies are genuinely interested in meeting you. You are a very popular man, a very corpulent man." You see the prince stop, giving his attention to the women. What do you mean by corpulent? What's that word mean? The man on the other side of the camera says, substantial. And the prince nods and goes back to partying a little. Yeah, that sounds like me. What's your name? He says to the lady on his left. And you just hear her say, Mercedes? The prince just nods. That's a beautiful name. Your mother probably gave you that because you're like a car. She just looks confused but laughs. It looks like Enduros is reviewing stolen and leaked materials from the Doribo file dump, and specifically those involving videos recorded within the non-stop enforcement cabaret. He is temporarily distracted, but you can see that there's also a sword thrusted into the ground behind him that looks more like a TV antenna than anything. You have right now, you said you have three travelers in there?
Yeah.
I would say you have three different opportunities to create, give yourself you and your team advantages on this. What's key information that you would want to know about Endaros?
Jeez. Yeah, I guess, how focused is he? You said he's basically in the dark by himself.
Yes.
I guess another thing would be because he is, the eye boy of his own little death squad. I guess how sensitive to light is he? Because if he's sitting in the dark, is he doing it because he's just a weird little freak like he is that we know, or is it that if I kick all the, if I blast a spotlight at him, is it gonna fuck him up real hard because he's also too much of an eye boy?
That may be the case. It's hard to tell. He does have his monitor set to dim, but to get more of an understanding, you're going to need to roll understanding. Again, pass difficulty 4.
Okay, I will do that.
You could spend one more fate point, and let's see. Yeah, you could spend one more fate point and figure it out, or sort of you can still create a boost with a cost, we'll say.
I'll pay the fate point and
Okay.
put that at a 5.
Okay, in that case, you can tell by the way that he has the light set on his computer, and prior experience that you've had with the cameramen in particular, how they've reacted to fire and flashes of light in front of their face. Yeah, those really bright lights will probably fry or temporarily disable some of those optical sensors, those weird ocular implants that they have. But in particular for this guy, you can also tell that judging by the placement of his sword, where he is, and how he's just like staring at this monitor, this may not be quite as simple as a cameraman fight. Like, he might have sensory abilities that are bigger than just being able to see through his eyes, if that makes any sense. That antenna behind him is definitely some kind of ability. For now, you do get a boost, though.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured that he would have sight beyond sight, but so do I, kinda. So we'll figure it out.
Okay. Sec advantage. Is there anything you can think of that would give you some kind of boost against him, or information that you'd want to know about the target? You can also phone a friend in this case, because any of your ninjas may have ideas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I can open it up to the group, if anybody has anything that they might want to use to windmill dunk on this weird nerd.
Well, it did say he made a TV alive.
Sure.
I could immediately blind him as a starting opening, but
Yeah, but like a new aspect that would maybe give you an advantage against this target, or information that you feel would work well with your abilities. For example, for Dima, you may know, like out of character or / in character, a combination of materials that could cause electrical interference or otherwise disrupt transmission. There could be like some kind of sandwiched material composite that does that, you know?
Yeah, useful to know. Coming in here.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna make you rack your brain about it, but I will say, if you'd like to give some kind of advantage, go ahead and give me a finesse roll against a passive difficulty of 4. One more fate point and you will pass.
Yeah, I'll pay it.
What do you invoke?
Augmented body parts, I guess.
So using your augmented body parts, would you like some DM provided assistance as to how you could accomplish this?
Yeah.
On the outside of the room, at key points along the walls, ceilings, corners of the walls, you can apply your sword's ability to strike out at the alloy there and create a perimeter that starts to close off transmission into and out of this cell that he's in, this room. You can do that now that the sectors have all been cleared out. You can do this work pretty quickly and quietly, but by doing that, you have created a closed off room.
Nice.
So now he can't communicate in or out, at least not freely. And then finally, there is a third traveler that can provide some information and help your team to coordinate assassinating this guy. Do any of you have any other scene aspects or information that you feel could help you to either prepare or execute this plan?
I mean, are there any, like, street rumors about this guy?
Just that he's a pervert. He creeps people out. It's true. Are you gonna make a naked puppet?
I mean, how would I even do that?
Just puppet. Use your secret word to
Look,
animate a sex doll.
look, people know what is and isn't a sexy puppet. So
Does he have one of
Discretion.
those in the room?
Of course not.
Why would he?
Why would he bring it
What?
with him?
I was gonna say honestly, that would be the
You know
wild.
what?
Actually, given how far in advance we are in the future, like he could probably have a weird sex robot that people just think is just a person.
Yeah, for a fate point, I'll allow it.
I don't pay it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Let's beat him up with his own sex doll.
I hope he keeps it in a gym bag. that he
Just
puts in a closet.
grab the thing by the ankles and swing it on him.
Oh my god.
Except the downside now is it has googly eyes.
Even that's yes. No notes. This is how we kill the president in our game. I feel like I need to say that.
For any FBI listening in covertly.
Wow, that's actually a scene aspect now. Okay.
So while he's like watching this, he kind of. Well, first give me a puppetry roll. You'll need to pass the difficulty of 4.
Oh no.
Uh,
I don't have a stunt yet, I guess.
a stunt for you could be when creating a scene aspect involving a puppet. Receive
Okay.
a +2 to your roll,
All right, and then I spend my last fate point.
and then you'd spend your last fate point.
Okay, I'll do that.
Don't forget to write it down in your sheet, though.
I'm doing it right now.
Okay. What do you invoke with your last fate point? I think I know one that could work here.
Secret puppet compartment.
How would your secret puppet compartment be
Well-
involved in this task?
Because it's a sex doll.
Fuck
What?
it. I'll allow it. God damn it.
What? You just have it in your
Yes.
You don't know what's in that doll.
Look, we made a joke character, and we are gonna run, and it's going to run its course.
I'm dying.
Same.
Okay, so
Seriously.
as Andaros is watching this video, what he doesn't see is a gym bag in the corner is beginning to rustle around because inside of it, a googly-eyed sex doll assassin is currently breaking and shoving metal inside of its own body through its weird sex doll face to pack itself full of blades. And yes, it is in a gross gym bag. He turns around for a moment to look directly at the gym bag, and it stops moving. And then he
How
goes
does it
back to
know?
watching the video. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's because comedy. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, there's an instinct comedic knowledge that all Muppets have. The comedic
think that's
timing
true.
is inherent.
They have perfect comedic timing, as always.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, it's like the Roger Rabbit situation of you can get out of the handcuffs, yeah, but only when it's funny.
Yeah. Let's take a moment real quick to review the life of your friend and mine. This guy, Andaros.
Oh, just a life review.
Yeah.
Of our friend that we're trying to kill. Haha, weird.
The life of Andaros. Let me get him out here. There he is. All right. And and then do this thing, and there we go. Andaros, a soldier within the Seven Nation Army who began as an intelligence and recon specialist. Someone who rose through the ranks of the samurai clan, the Valentines, to attain a level of power neither he nor someone else special to him ever thought that he could. The question to all of you is, who was that special person in Andaros' life? Someone that he made proud. First answer is the answer I go with. Go ahead, someone.
Does it have to be like
Friend, family, a superior in the military?
oh, maybe a Seven Nation Army general, like Major General?
A major general within the Seven Nation Army. Makes sense. He was inspired by this general within the Seven Nation Army to not only do better, but be better. But then there came a time when his entire career was jeopardized as he was caught peeping on the female officers within his unit, female personnel. And when he got in trouble for this, it obviously hurt his reputation and career and the reputation of the general. This great disgrace that marked Andaros' life would go on to be the taint that would continue to haunt him day in and day out. Wherever he would go, whatever he would do, he was called a pervert. They all knew about what he did, and there was no way for him to deny it. And without his powerful friend, the general, without that mentor figure, there was nobody high up enough that would ever even look his way. He was a disgusting wretch. But that uncontrollable need within him to look, to see, to know, drove him to continue his work, taking surveillance and recon jobs where other people would consider that mission to be suicide, embedding himself within savage mutant nation tribes in South and Central America, traveling to the Arctic so that he could help to rebuild a monitoring station that would allow the Seven Nation Army to continue its global dominance in terms of message decryption. And no matter where he went or who he worked with, everyone wanted to stay well out of range of him, as if he were radioactive, as if he were a complete black mark on this world. And as he watches the prince and thinks on his life and what is the change to come in the world, with the CEO of Dorbo out of the way, with the worldwide choppers being ousted after their attempted coup, and of course, with the rise of Don Reyes, who has promised him a very prominent position in the new government to come after Post Valentine has been removed. With all competitors out of the way, he swears he's going to see that general that turned his back on Andaros. He's going to see that man executed personally. He'll see it in full resolution, high definition, surround sound as the head hits the ground with a thud. There will be no one left to judge Andaros, no one left to tell him no, no one left to chastise him for his perverted ways. There won't even be perversion. He, in his lap, strokes an idol a carved purple figurine of a girl with a space helmet and smiles, clenching his teeth. Because he worships the god of media and experience. Yes, he is a Nia fan. There are such dark things as this within the worship of your characters. I'm so sorry that your most prominent follower so far is a pervert, but it is what it is. But that's when you guys kick open the door. Who is going to go in first?
Dima can go in first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, despite being, I guess, the one in charge of this one, Mikey is not the front man.
Yeah, you don't need to be.
Yeah, so if anything, I would say probably before this, Mikey probably talked to Lazaro and was like, "Hey, can you use your stand ability on this?" And he'll hold out like the clip that's used for his rifle. I just don't, I just want to make sure he doesn't see it coming.
Oh, I got you. Sure, I could do that. It'll remain inert, though. It won't explode right away, so that way I don't detonate it in the chamber.
Oh yeah, no, please don't.
He brushes, brushes the ammo with the black powder that he produces from Burn the Witch. So you have censored rounds, censored gun rounds. The order of operations here is going to come quick, and it's going to come very quickly. But before you do go in, actually, Lazar will tell all of you he cannot die until the time is right. He taps his wristwatch, so no quick cuts. It must be carried out in the right order. He sets a timer. We have 1 minute. So within the next group of actions, you are executing all of this within 1 minute's time. The idea is to take him out as quick and hard as you can so that he cannot set off any alarms or get out. And because of his ability, his sword ability, if he does get out, he'll probably right away activate any kind of fail safe that he can, because he can monitor everything in the building. So yes, it is time to actually dump those fate points. All of you as ninjas know, this man absolutely cannot be allowed to live for longer than a minute, and he cannot die before the minute is up. That is a hard coded part of your mission. If you do happen to mess up on this, it could spell disaster for every other operative. And so, with that in mind, Dima, you wanted to go first?
Yeah, any chance that my stunt applies to this?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna use my last fate point for a +2.
Okay. You have a +2, so he goes to. Once the door is kicked open, you see him begin to fade away. How do you keep him from doing that? How do you keep him from fading out completely?
I'm gonna say that one of the elements was like a, I want to say liquid hydrogen or something like really misty. So, whatever, we'll just say like frost.
Okay.
And maybe like it kind of crashes so that like if he
It's like you add a frosty trail, or you add like some kind of like frosty element so that he can still be tracked in the room.
Yeah.
Okay. So that puts you at an 8, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to do 1 stress to him. He's got 5 stress boxes and 4 consequence boxes. So you can further. If you do, you have any fate points left? Okay. What is your character's flaw?
Oh wow, I actually don't have one.
Well, you'll want to consider it. But for right now, you also have scene aspects that you can use here. You see there are 3 of them. They can be invoked once for free by someone in the room. So you can use them to further amp your damage if you'd like, or you can let someone else take advantage of those.
I'm trying to think of like what the other element in the weapon could be that can maybe take advantage of the light, maybe. But nothing's coming to mind, so I'll just.
I'll also give you the opportunity to create an advantage here if you'd like. Instead of an attack, if you feel like that would be a better choice of your action. You basically, if you want to take him out in 1 move, you're going to have to do in excess of 11 shifts of damage to him on top of whatever he rolls to defend himself, which means you need a super high fate point pool, and you also need to probably burn every aspect that you have.
Okay, yeah, let's stack up these advantages then.
Okay, so that we'll just say we'll continue to say that the frost is what the advantage is on him, the scene aspect. But for right now, he hasn't taken any stress.
Yeah. Okay, I can't think of anything else immediately, so. That's it for now.
You're gonna hate the name of this scene aspect. Flakes of frost are currently falling off of him.
No, it's good.
Is it just
this is
good,
a
or
serious
is it in
game. This
fact
is a
great.
Thank you.
I mean, the tiger guy did make it.
The stakes are so high, come on.
Okay, that means.
Oh no, we all made a bunch of joke characters, and now we have to do an assassination. Now we have to live with consequences.
That'll teach you your lesson about it.
No, it won't. I'm still gonna do. If anything, I want goofier characters.
He's going to use his. Let's see, what does he have here? Shit. He's going to create an advantage on all of you because he is trying to drift backwards and away. Let's see, what is he gonna do here? He needs to pass a 4. He's going to spend 1 fate point and invoke that he's an elite guard and pass that. He's using his stunt sharper image, enhancing the image of all of you in the darkness, allowing him to deal an additional shift of damage on his next attack. And also his +2 bonus from that. So I will just put that under him. That is going to be his turn. Who is up next in the ninja rundown here?
Yeah, who comes in next into the room?
You can popcorn it to somebody.
Alright, I'm gonna popcorn it to my tiger bro, Nikki.
Okay, so
Crazy Nikki, as he's known in the streets.
the frosted flakes are falling down on him, and he backs up into a moving duffel bag.
Do you want to invoke the googly-eyed sex doll assassin right now, or because that would be burning your +2?
Oh, I just wanted to distract him for a second and let the next person do it, because I thought I would be create an advantage, sort of.
Are you trying to create a scene aspect, like give a boost, basically? You're trying to
Yeah,
create an advantage?
to the last and final person, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give me a monkey business roll.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. He is distracted by the sex doll assassin that you've planted.
Yeah, I'm Zips and sort of hugs him, I guess. It's googly eyed.
You have 2 invokes on googly-eyed sex doll assassin now instead of just 1. You could tell that what he was attempting to do was analyze any movement that was going on. You could actually hear the mechanisms within his eyepiece whirring and adjusting based on how many of you there were and how fast you were moving. Because you didn't exactly attack him and he didn't succeed or fail on his roll, he actually doesn't get an advantage via his stunt playback, which is when he uses record on a defensive roll. He can record the difference between scores and use that to his advantage. So that is going to be your turn. He's just going to.
Wait, is it the doll?
No, you don't have to make it your character.
No,
my
we're
God.
not doing that. I was making a joke.
Oh my
That's
god.
not- that would be too much, and even I would be like, no.
No.
He has a religious respect or reverence for Nia, not a sexual one, for God's sake.
Okay.
Let's see, what the fuck else can he do here?
So she Hansons him. The end.
Yes, he is going to. Oh, he already has the scene aspect here, actually. He's going to. Now it's official. You can tell that he has started to move whenever you move. Whenever one of you makes a move, he is beginning to make a move. He has a scene aspect whenever he plants his sword in an area called scanning. From now on, if you roll a 4 or lower, he is going to counterattack you immediately and then take his turn. Meaning he has like superhuman reflexes. He can't do it using his sword, but he will do it by other means. So you can just hear basically the sword antenna that he had planted fire up and begin to spin its small branches around like a blender, meaning that attempting to grab or remove that thing is probably not going to be a good idea. That is his turn. He doesn't need to roll for that. That's just an activation of his ability. Who do you popcorn it to?
I guess our next ninja? Our priest?
Okay, Mr. Emery, what do you want to do here? You can create an advantage or launch an attack. It's up to you.
I feel like he would just launch an attack. I mean, he would probably go, help me, O Lord my God, save me in accordance with your love, that we know that it is your hand, that you, O Lord, have done it. You may curse, but you will bless. When they attack, they will be put to shame, but your servant will rejoice. My accusers will be clothed with disgrace and wrapped in shame as a cloak. And then just strikes.
All right, give me a God's love roll, I guess, with your stunt. Do you want to fate point that to leave it as is, or?
I definitely feel like I'd fate point that. I mean,
Okay, go for it. You can either boost it or you can re-roll it.
I feel like it'd be better to roll that.
Alrighty.
There's the way it could get worse.
No, it could be all negatives, or it could be that.
Come
Does your character have a Does your character have a flaw?
I feel like the flaw is definitely him having to chant before every kind of violent act to kind of justify what he's doing.
So like a religious zealotry kind of, or ritual. We'll say ritual, compulsive ritualist, something like
Yes.
that. Okay, you could refocus your efforts, but it will require you to actually. Hmm. You would probably need to put yourself in a better position within the room, but it's within Andaros' striking range, and he may attack you next because you just tried to strike out at him. As he guards against your sword with his bare hands, you can see that there are metal plates within his palms that allow him to at least keep the sword from going through him. And when one of your phantasms tries to strike out at him, you can see the phantasm of a reporter that says, just kind of looks like it wants to ask him questions before turning its microphone into a copy of your sword and cutting at him. He successfully parries that blow as well with his other palm, and you can hear the little mechanisms in his head recording. Um, Moving yourself into a better ritualistic positioning, or just in general, will give him a +1, we'll say, to his next attack, but you will receive a fate point for doing so.
Yeah, I figure he would do that. He probably thinks even violence against him is probably acceptable.
Okay. He is going to, once you make that move, this comes with as a 9. Because he is using the difference that he recorded. That may take you out right now. I don't think you have the stress or the, I will give you the one extra. I think one extra stress box. You can consider yourselves to have 3, since you're ninjas, not just minions. Um, that would still probably no. You would still have basically enough to stay in the fight. But you would mark off your 3 and mark off your severe consequence. In doing so. So your severe consequence there is, he has basically crushed your he's crushed your throat. He delivered a very swift forward knuckled strike to your neck as you were moving, because he saw the way that you were moving around him and chanting, and decided to strike out at that first. Because of that, you may have some difficulty with your chanting, but you do have 1 fate point left. And you are in a position now where your next attack may be better off. Who do you popcorn initiative to?
Mikey, I think he's probably. I mean, I think he's like the one who hasn't gone yet, right?
I mean, I guess technically it's me and Lazaro.
Yes. Okay, then Mikey, it is up to you. Do you want to go first, or do you want Lazaro to go first?
Let me actually look at Lazaro's sheet, because I feel like I looked at it last week and then I haven't looked at it since.
He does have the ability to create a trap on one of Endaros' aspects.
Yes. Yeah, that actually sounds really good.
Which aspect would you like him to put a trap on?
He wasn't there one that he had a stunt for? I mean, he may have multiple, but there was one you brought up. I can't see his sheet, so.
Oh, really? Hold on. Let me fix that. You guys should all be able to see it. No, you can't.
No,
Never
I was
mind. I'll
gonna say
fix that.
no.
There you go. Now you can see a
Okay.
sheet.
Okay, I was thinking of the scanning one. That's not it.
I mean, let's see. How does this? Lazaro can trap any aspect of a scene as well. So you could trap any. You could either trap sharper image or scanning.
Yeah, let me see. Let's do the scanning, because that one is just, it's worse, just because he has to, all of us have to constantly keep rolling high, or else we get blasted.
Oh, speaking of which, actually, I guess that would have procced on you, Emery. I guess he does get another attack. Luckily for you, it doesn't actually do anything. Although he is going to invoke and do 2 points of stress to you. He's invoking your severe aspect. So you take 2 stress. On top of hitting you in the throat, you can see him follow up with a quick combination when you gasp or when you react to it to try to hit you in the diaphragm. This one doesn't do quite as much damage to you as it could have, but that's just because he hasn't really burned he hasn't burned up much of his resources yet. Another thing, you guys may want to try to run me out of fate points on this. Regardless, you have taken you take 2 additional stress from the fact that he's been scanning up until now. That is Lazaro's turn. That's what he does. He doesn't need to roll for that. It's just the power he has. That would make it his turn again. He quickly turns around towards the Tiger Warrior, knowing that this is a political dissident that was trapped in the cells in the basement, and attempt to use a long-reaching kind of grab towards you, Dima. He's actually going to burn 2 invokes here. He's going to invoke his fuck it. He's going to invoke scanning, and he's going to invoke his rank as an elite guard. When he goes to invoke scanning, let's see, what is he? He takes 2 stress right away. As he attempts to tap into his ability to monitor the room, you can see actually heat starts to go up around his eyepiece, but doesn't quite melt through it. It's just starting to heat up the mechanical and electrical components within his helmet. Regardless, that attack comes at you, Dima, with a 5.
Okay.
The 2. Okay. This next attack is he immediately is going to once you look like you're going to defend yourself, it looks like he's going in for an attack, as a follow-up to his own. You successfully, you take 3 and then basically 2. You take 3 and then 2 stress. So mark off, you don't have 3 and 2, but let me add one for you.
Second mild.
No, I'm just adding a 3 stress box to your sheet. And he's actually gonna, no, you do need a mild, because he's going to burn another fate point to invoke that he is a Valentine clan samurai. He fought his way to get up into this position. He's not going to let it go for a bunch of hooligans like this. So your mild consequence is that he has struck you very sharply in the face and broken your cybernetic nose, if you have a cybernetic nose. If it's just regular bone and cartilage, then he's essentially busted it up. Okay. That is his turn. Now it is your turn, Mikey.
Cool. Yeah, so with the black powder coated rounds that I have. I effectively want to use the first one like a flashbang grenade, and I just want to put that thing as right between his eyes. I don't want the bullet to actually go off and kill him, but I do want it to go off and completely blind this man. Even if it's temporary, I just need it to happen.
Okay, go ahead and give me a, I guess we'll say a sniper roll for this. It's fine. You get your stunt. A 0.
So that's a 2.
He's going to invoke his style, gazing for a sky, knowing that people are going to attempt to attack his ability to perceive because it is his greatest strength. That turns his 1 into a 3. Do you have any fate points left to invoke?
I do not.
What? This is the part. How can I compel you? Carrying out this. I know exactly how I can do this. Carrying out this shot and being able to assassinate this man according to the time that Lazaro has set, because it's not quite that appointed time yet, will require you to maybe one of you is going to have to be put into danger, and it's likely going to be Lazaro.
No, I can go.
No, you're not. You're a throwaway NPC, aren't you? It'd be okay if you died, but Lazaro dying might be a problem. So while I appreciate you wanting to sacrifice your character, Lazaro, seeing that the way that you're pulling off the shot and knowing that if it goes too fast or too quick, it's going to be a problem, creates a shimmering wall of light around himself for a moment and actually dives sort of in front of you, Mikey, but not as after you fired, because the counterattack is going to come at you. He takes this counterattack for you.
Oh no.
And it has a +1, or sorry, a +2, because you've, well, basically the result of this is Andaros invokes his gazing forest style, his elite guard status, and his motto that by the time you see him, death has arrived, and shoves one bladed hand right into Lazaro's chest, impaling him cleanly before withdrawing it and then using the blood as a sort of cover spray. Lazaro isn't dead yet, but he is seriously wounded. Didn't get his heart or his lungs. He stumbles back. Lazaro stumbles backwards, but because Lazaro was there to keep you from getting counterattacked, and the setup that you guys have here, I would say, as opposed to the normal turn order on this, he's going to, well, first of all, he gets his own turn first, which is that he strikes Lazaro a second time right in the same wound that he just left in the man, making that a 6. Okay. Means that Lazaro here takes 5 damage. 5 shifts of damage. His ribs were crushed by the blow that Andaros just delivered on him, causing him to stumble backwards, spraying blood. Mikey, you have a new advantage on him now because of what Lazaro did. He made it possible for you to get off that flare shot, and then I would assume you want to do an immediate follow-up shot. If this fight goes on much longer,
Yes.
Lazaro's going to die.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be a flash, effectively a flashbang, since Blue isn't here to provide that for him, and then the second he's blinded, if time were allowing, the second bullet would be as fast as the gun can fire it behind the first one. But of course, obviously, he does know that he needs to keep him alive long enough to hit that minute mark, which I feel like Mikey wouldn't even need a watch for. It's just like a merman thing of like the second he hit like start on his watch to count down, like Mikey's brain was also running the numbers
Okay. You're going
to know when or when not to pull the bullet, try and do the trigger.
You get a compel here. If you pull the trigger right now, it's actually going to be too fast. And that he does have, because of what he just did to Lazaro, he does have the time to possibly conceal his position. If you shoot him now while he's more visible and he's just been flashbanged, you do have the possibility of hitting him, but you need like 10 more seconds before you can kill him, according to Lazaro's watch.
Could I cripple him then? I mean, if there's a chance he might try and like sulk out or go, hide in the shadows or darkness again.
Yeah,
I mean, any bullet round through a kneecap is not gonna feel great, but a sniper round is gonna just robot or not.
You could
depending
always
on
use
the rolls.
You could use stuck with you.
Ooh, I could do that. Yeah, that's actually what I want to do. That is a much better use.
Okay. Then go ahead and give me an understanding roll. Let's see if he can boogie out of it. Ooh, he can't. But you can tell he recorded his inability to get out of this. This will give him a 3 differential that he can either apply to his own score or yours. A -3. With that in mind, now you have the ability to take the shot if you want to. It's been set up enough with him stuck in position. You can attempt to take the shot. You have 5 scene aspects that you can invoke here, and I assume do you have 1 fate point left?
I have no fate points.
Does anybody have fate points left?
I'm out.
Oh, Emery, how many fate points do you have left?
I think 1, I believe.
Okay. You moved into a more advantageous position. You can tell that the mission needs to be accomplished in a very set way. So I will give you, if you'd like right now, the ability to add another scene aspect to this if you'd like. You may also, I mean, if depending on how lucky Andaros here feels, he may attempt to record the difference in defense and lose his -3 that he has there. So I guess the question is, how would you, with Emery's crushed throat and the fact that he's just been pummeled badly, he sees that one of the other operatives, Lazaro, could die soon, and the timing is almost there. Everything is almost in place for taking this guy out. So, what sort of advantage do you feel like you could provide here?
I feel like just overwhelming force in a way, like just kind of putting himself completely in this guy's vision range and making himself unable to be, kind of like just completely surrounding him with phantasms, just striking constantly.
Okay, go ahead and provide me with a for this. Whatever. I'll give you the most mileage out of your stunt. Go ahead and roll me a God's Love.
Okay.
Whoa. You have how many fate points left?
I have one left.
You have one left. I'll allow you to succeed, but at this point, you will have to be taken out if you do. It doesn't mean dying; it just means taken out, because he would just deliver the god smack upon you, as it were. He's gonna crush you.
That's fine.
Okay, so your phantasms are striking him down, and they look like army personnel. They look like reporters, more reporters. They look like a woman who's barely holding her top on. They're all holding copies of your swords, by the way, and screaming as they're just striking down on him in a frenzy. He, being stuck here and struck by all these phantasms, starts to freak out and just uses drift to throw everyone around him away from himself. After recording all of the information he's gathered, he now feels like he has the perfect assessment of how to kill every single one of you in the room. You are taken out, Emery, but you're just knocked out right now. Between your crushed throat and how close you needed to be to carry out that technique, you have been rendered unconscious. You're not killed, but you are no longer able to provide assistance here. You do provide a +2 though. So because you took that compel and were taken out, you do get the scene aspect created that he is being assailed by phantasms. Who would you like to? Well, I guess at this point, Mikey, it's really all on you now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've got him stuck in essentially a goopy sand pit in the floor, and I guess could I self compel to get a fate point?
Oh, absolutely. You can self compel. Anyone can self compel. What do you want to self compel on?
I feel like Mikey would come in, seeing Lazaro get injured. I feel like he was outside the room because like just general sniper shenanigans. But seeing Lazaro hurt, needing to be able to finish this in the next 10 seconds, Mikey would come rushing in through the doors. The kind of branching wings that the steel coral makes when he uses his stand, reflectively like catches the doors and pulls them in to seal the room shut, bringing it to utter darkness around him, and also probably tipped with like an adhesive to seal the door shut. So he is thrown up his own death flag, but he's got the rifle as at a point blank, in a point blank situation to end Andaros with this shot.
Okay, yeah, that definitely gives you a fate point.
Yeah, no escape. No, someone is not leaving this room, and it is now down to which one of them.
But somewhere in the back of your mind, you remember in the earliest days when you were in the ocean, just swimming and looking for a place to live, breathe, just catch your breath, get sun. In the darkness is where those things wait, with the long teeth and the sharp claws and the way too many heads, just waiting, practically begging to grab you and tear you to pieces for a meal. And right now, the person you're looking at, Andaros, is one of those predators. In the darkness, with the bare bit of light that maybe catches a glint on his goggles as he's staring at you, he looks like one of those deep, deep ocean predators. Big, glassy orb eyes, strange expression, almost smiling or smirking, and small, sharp teeth even within the mouth, perhaps filed down. There is something very menacing about him. He looks twice as tall to you as he did before because he's in the dark. Twice as dangerous. You get the compel, but he also has the ability to now scare the ever-loving shit out of you, as you could have probably guessed. With that in mind, would you like to make a sniper roll?
Yes, I would.
Okie doke. Oof. So you're doing a 3, and it's a 5 with your stunt. And with
Yep.
all of these scene aspects, that would put you at a 17.
Yes.
He is going to... Shit, can he survive this? We'll find out. So here's the thing. Theoretically, wait a minute. 17 set it a 7. You're gonna hate this. You need 1 more point to get over. Can what?
I was gonna say, let me see.
Wait a minute. No, you don't need 1 more point.
Oh, does it math out?
Sort of. As you're shooting this guy in the dark, you feel like your aim is not too steady. Weirdly, right now, because of the nervousness of being in the dark, you feel that you could miss this shot. But then, as Andaros is looking at you, locking onto you, and you can see he's pulling from within his coat several smaller firearms that he carries on himself. The moment he goes to aim at you, a small spark goes off in his headset because he looked at your shoulder. And as he's reeling backwards and attempting to fire off a second shot, he looks at your chest, and then more sparks begin to blast out of his eyes right behind the goggles. And this illumination creates the perfect silhouette. He goes to point both guns at you and pull the trigger, but then he catches sight of another area on your shoulder, and that sets off an explosion behind his goggles. And you remember throughout the time earlier when you were hanging out with Lazaro and just generally getting ready for this mission, Lazaro kind of patted you on the back. He leaned on your shoulder and poked you in the chest to tell you something. He kind of like put an arm around you like you were friends. And every time he did that, though you didn't notice, just like you had said, the trick that you did, sleight of hand, Lazaro was hiding his powder on you for key points to detonate at a key moment. He not only knew exactly what you were talking about, it's possible that he was just playing dumb. He is currently lying on the ground, bleeding out. But that one round that you fired, because of the illumination, and because Andaros has been disabled by Lazaro's traps, pierces him right through the middle of the eyes, through his goggles, through his brain. The last thing he can think as the round enters his skull is that he is better than this. He is better than this. He can't die here, not for this bullshit. All he needs is 1 more second. Because as you can see, he's starting to pull out what looks like some kind of explosive from his coat. But it wasn't enough time. He didn't have enough. He didn't have that 1 extra second. Instead, he just drops the detonator on the ground and slumps down, still trapped by travelers. And you hear the small beep, 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 beep of Lazaro's watch as the alarm goes off. The target has been executed on the appointed time. Endaros is no more. He is most certainly dead. There were no fail safes left. You don't hear anything going off. You don't hear any alarms. The mission was a success. Good job. You now have two injured companions. The father, Emery, he's going to come too. He was just knocked out. Lazaro, on the other hand, is still bleeding out. Um, he is just a human. He's a stand user, but he's just a human. He currently has crushed ribs and he's been impaled cleanly through the chest.
Yeah, Mikey's over there. He's already using a like healing, like it's probably partially a adhesive, like part just stock full of nutrients and anything the body would need to recover and not bleed out, and it's just got his hands on the wound, applying pressure, uh, and he's probably picked him up at this point because he's a human, so he's not heavy. Uh, I feel like Mikey would know would have probably memorized the entire building layout as quickly as possible. Is there any kind of like medical wing or anywhere if somebody got hurt?
In a place like this, there's like scant first aid, and then maybe in the basement when they had to keep people alive from all the torture that they were doing. There were probably some medical facilities with very crude tools and implements, but you would need a pretty good medical knowledge to apply that, like ice peak level. You could try, but it would be a very difficult role for you to do the work of a doctor, unless that's something you ever want to study. It'll take you a second. The thing is, in the time it would take you to read a manual and get really well versed enough to save this guy with the extent of his damage, he could just die. No matter how fast you can think and research and learn as a merman, um, we're talking differences of like minutes or seconds even for him to make it.
What?
If Yeah, go ahead.
What's the nearest hospital around here?
Oh, he's gonna die before he gets there.
Like you could like climb this tower and just like glide in some direction.
You could attempt, if there's anything you feel you have within your you know repertoire of abilities, knowledge, um, even your ability, your stand ability. If there's anything that you think that you could apply here, or any power you feel that you could call upon or pray to, basically, how much do you want this guy to live?
Um, okay, so I have two ideas.
Okay.
So if I can't learn fast enough for the machine to keep him alive to do what is necessary, then I want the machine to just know and be able to do it. So Mikey's gonna turn to Nikki and just go with me and just start running. Probably actually grabbing them too because he can do that. Um, and like just kind of dragging the both of them to the medical wing as quickly as they can,
Okay.
so that she can or Nikki can basically bring to life this medical equipment.
Oh,
Oh god, that's cracked out.
Yeah, it is, but it could work because if I can't learn fast enough, the machine would know what it needs to do.
So you take the little puppet hand and he follows you.
Yes, yeah, you're both getting dragged along.
Nikki, you have no orders to keep Lazaro alive. You can if you want, but he is nobody that you need to keep alive. In fact, he took this mission knowing that he would die along the way. You are a ninja and an operator, and you know that you probably have the same resolve. You die if it means completing the mission. That's what you do, and nobody remembers you, and nobody risks their lives or any further part of the mission. Um, that's the way that you live. So, in character, um, is this something that you do? Like, do you go against this operative, this wet work code to save this guy? Because right now, staying here is not a good idea, even if it means giving this guy medical attention. You already have Emery, who you probably gotten. Emery, you're probably back on your feet, but you are heavily dazed, and that crushed throat still hurts.
Well, what else were our instructions?
Your instructions were kill this guy and get the fuck out so you can receive further instruction. Get out as quickly as you can.
Was
And-
I sent here? Okay. I guess the answer to the question is I feel like Nikki was sent here to save Dima because he's just kind of a bro.
No, Diva was actually, you were both embedded here.
Both embedded? Okay.
On purpose. You're embedded and then activated. Everything that you came up with for your character is your cover. All character aspects, your high thing, everything. The puppet is still the puppet, but your cover is now, that's just what it is. It was just your cover. That's what you know as a ninja. So now you have an opportunity to make a choice kind of divorced from that and set out with your own kind of set of principles and morals, knowing what you know as a ninja.
I mean, still deep down, he's the puppet master that wants to like teach kids stuff. So I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't.
Deep down beneath your ninja resolve, you just want to teach kids. How's that keep Lazaro alive? Exactly. Lazaro is not a kid. And there's really not a whole lot. I mean, you probably don't know anything about him actually. Mikey is yeah, okay. I'm willing to roll with this. Mikey, now that you've been around him enough, despite the fact that he looks like an adult, talks like an adult, shaped like an adult, he still has a sort of kiddish nature to him, a young nature. And right now, if he sees this guy die to complete his mission, it'd probably traumatize him for the rest of his life. So beneath your ninja resolve, there is a part of you, maybe, that says this is probably not the best introduction to the world for someone this young. Because of that, I will say you then have a compelling reason to provide assistance in this matter. But it may jeopardize other things for you. For example, not getting out of here fast enough means that if there's a security response, and if they find out that Rivers was at all involved with this, it could be a problem for higher ups and definitely a problem for you. But you, as a ninja, are more concerned about your higher ups. So, if you want, let's go ahead and give you your compel. You are a gentle gangster himbo, I suppose. And some part of you, despite your ninja cover, some part of you that there needs to be a root, a common root there, something that is somewhat like you in a way. And in this case, it's your gentle nature, or rather, your caring nature. So you can absolutely work to help save Lazaro, but security forces are on their way now. They are responding to the fact that this tower is no longer giving out transmissions. They're responding to the fact that Endaros is not being raised on comms. There are other things happening at this point simultaneously. It's just right now you may have a small security force on the way.
Would this be considered a compel?
Yes, you could.
I take that compel. Also, Mikey, the question I have for you is: do you take the tree's hand or the puppet's hand?
I feel like he grabbed the puppet. Like he handed the puppet a gun. I feel like he took the puppet by the hand. And in fact, because I feel like Mikey has probably observed this duo enough to know that like
No,
the
that's
puppet is in charge. Like
when you take Nikki's puppet hand, he realizes you are young at heart and will follow you.
yes, that no adult would grab a puppet's hand to take him somewhere.
Yes,
Okay.
that is the moment.
So what you animate the machinery with googly eyes. What is the secret word? Might as well just say what it is.
Oh, do you?
It's okay.
Yeah, actually, if anything, while Mikey is running along with both of them, because like mermen kind of have that like edict memory of like everything they see and hear through travelers. He saw the conversation that they were having, the guards, anyways. Just starts verbatim saying it back out loud as they're running. So as they're running, like he's just running and he's like keeping an eye out. And the second he starts saying like D-Rad and like starts stuff like little googly eyes just kind of pop into existence, like he's like, got it, and just keeps going.
Another problem with your ability, those things all kill people. So you're gonna have to figure this one out, I guess. Anything you animate maybe it animates for the purposes of killing whoever said the word. So in that case, Mikey, you're killed by several guns that start walking around and shooting at you.
Yeah, a water cooler rolls up to me and just crushes me.
But we don't need to.
They might all try to help, but like viciously.
I would say the three of you, actually, you three ninjas. If you're all okay, I should ask Dima, are you in on this? Staying in to try to save Lazaro.
He probably doesn't want to split up.
Okay, Emery. Once you've gotten to, you have the same considerations that I was saying other characters have. You of the ninja type. Um, Getting out of here is your top priority, or at least those are your orders. Saving Lazaro is a huge risk, and you know that there are security personnel on the way. You need to get the fuck out. Do you stick by and try to save this person, because Nikki is dedicated to it and Dima, it seems, is not splitting up.
Emery will. I feel like some part of him still does have a kind of God-fearing nature, but in that kind of like also turn the cheek kind of way in some ways. Like violence may normally be the answer, but in cases of saving someone, you save one person, you save everyone. You know, kind of feel.
Okay. Actually, I will say of all the characters, the ninjas, maybe that could have encountered Lazaro before this mission, you probably had some passing conversation with him about how he doesn't really have a strong sense of faith, but believes in the goodness that men of the cloth and churches espouse. He just doesn't think that any of it actually gets carried out. He is a person he seems very conflicted about religion, though he would never actually share why that is. Instead, you just know that he seems to have some certain feeling on the Catholic Church in particular. But with that in mind, maybe then there's also that is a reason enough. I would say that this is someone whose soul is likely in crisis. You also know that he's pretty adamant that he's going to hell when he dies. So you are a very religious person. You don't want to give the devil another soul, I assume.
No.
Okay. In that case, combining all three of your abilities to a very ridiculous degree here, you are ninjas, and coordinating with your fellow ninja on using your sword is like standard. Um, utilizing your phantasms to start CPR, basically, creating things that Lazaro is afraid of to give him CPR by punching his chest. You can actually control how these things like attack.
I was gonna say, I imagined it more like they're reaching inside, like, ghostly, all ethereal, and just working the lungs that way. But yeah, ghost punches.
Ghost punches, yeah,
It's JoJo, baby. That's all this is.
Ghost punches, I would say, though, how these Nikki's machines will attack things. Dima, you can use your sword to apply a material combination that allows for, we'll say, like medical purposes instead of deadly ones. So maybe you use your materials to create like anesthetic or sterilization, some kind of sterile material, and a like sealant foam or medical foam or something along those lines. It is the future, so
Okay, sure.
yeah, you can basically turn those attacking machines into medical application machines, including the key machine that it presumably they all have googly eyes.
Yes.
And then, Mikey, what are you doing as this? There's basically a frenzy of phantasms, machines working on Lazaro, and different material exchanges that are happening because of Demon's sword. So,
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I can, since I can kind of create, like, work on what the structure of the various slimes my body produces are, as gross as that is to say as a sentence. Yeah, he's got the nutrient goo that's sealed up his hole so he doesn't die. It's probably also, yeah, helping give Dima like any materials he needs, in a weird liquid form. Just kind of, just handing slime over in a very gross way. I guess also there would be probably a brief moment where Mikey also stops all the dumb little puppets he created trying to run through the words to find the one that triggers, taking care of them so they don't break in and murder him and like ruin anything that's going on.
sure.
And then probably just coming back and like continuing to assist. Like, I feel like he's picked up enough secondhand knowledge from like Ice Peak on medical treatment of a person, because with like merfolk, I feel like it's a different beast. Literally, a lot of times it's usually just like, just sit with them, that it'll grow back whatever they lost. But a person is a very different thing to merfolk because they die so hard.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a gaze roll. As you are all working on him, Mikey in particular, you notice that there are 3 phantasms that seem to be very adamant about attacking Lazaro. One of them is a man in a military outfit, with a deep scar carved into his face. It looks like some kind of, you're not sure what era, just black armband, familiar. Looks like almost Nazi regalia. The second figure is a woman that looks very much like Lazaro, and she is on fire. Her very threadbare dress burning, her whole hair on fire, her face on fire. And the third figure that's attacking him finally is Lazaro himself. With great hatred and violence in his eyes, he is attacking harder than anyone else. All of them punching him in the chest, screaming and frothing at the mouth. And you can see a fourth figure, almost a sort of drifting spiritual haze that is beginning to leave Lazaro. Some kind of golden sand almost. He is being killed by more than just physical damage at this point. He's being killed by some kind of burden, a psychic burden that has been weighing upon him since the moment you first know him, far earlier than even the merman race has existed. You could potentially do something, but it needs to be a word or a sentence. What would you say to a human who just wants to give up because of how shitty things have been?
Oh man, that's he would probably see if like Mikey puts his hand through this like gold dust that's kind of falling off him, does he catch it or does it just fall through?
Just drifts. It doesn't just fall, it just drifts upwards, like towards the sky. You can see it's also burning at the very fringe ends of it, igniting like embers. Like, it's not just that potentially he's dying, but potentially it's that he's actually burning away. Spiritually speaking, he did mention that he is condemned to hell.
Yeah, I feel like seeing that, trying to like grasp at it in a failed attempt, he'll probably end up like down at like Lazaro's like face and just be like, "Hey, look, I know that you're not supposed to make it out of this alive, but that doesn't work for me. So that's we're not gonna have that happen. I want to know as much as I can about everyone and everything all the time, and I can't learn more about you if you're gone. If you're gone, then who tells your stories? Only the people that remember you, and I don't know enough about you to tell enough people about you, Lazaro, Limoncello. You can't. I only know what Italy was kind of like in 1945. I mean, what else was there? Like, tell me about. He's probably like also kind of pushed down, like pushed away like the spirits. He probably just got in their way. And it's just like, I need to know about your mother, sister. I need to know about whoever this is. And he just kind of points at the man with the giant scar. I hope you're the one that gave him that scar. I mean, he's dressed in an army fatigue, so I assume he was working with the Axis powers. So what's that about? You know, you can't. You don't get to censor your life by dying. That's not fair. You don't get to do that. You can't do that. You know, you can't have that. You can't have it. And he's not even saying that to Lazaro anymore. He's just saying that out loud.
Lazaro, upon hearing you, ignites. His body has begun to burn now. The gold sand that's coming off of him is now flickering and igniting as well, caught by the fire of himself. He, despite all of your best efforts and everything you put in, is dying, burning, immolated by his own stand. Burn the witch, which you can see standing over him now, like a priest giving last rites.
I feel like, yeah, if he's like effectively like either self-immolating or spontaneous combusting, Mikey would turn to the father and just go, read him his last rites. Read him his last rites. And he's just like, he's saying it, and he's saying it faster and faster to the point where it's probably starting to hurt your guys' ears to hear him as he's doing it, because
I mean, yeah, Mikey would know enough that if hell is real, so is heaven, and if you're read your last rites, there is a chance that he might be able to, pull a Constantine and give the finger to Satan on his way up. But there is also now a hum that is going on as you see Mikey's lips are not moving anymore, but it's very clear he's still making a noise.
Are you going to give this man his last rites as directed, Father Emery?
Yes, I don't see a reason why he wouldn't.
Okay. Do you have last rites to give, or are we just going to assume?
I would have to look that up, and I have.
Oh, you don't have to. As you are
Uh,
giving him his last rites, Father, despite everything that your group has done, all the risks you've taken, everything to save this guy's life and carry out this mission, it seems that he is bound for the pit, bound for hell, the agreement he made, the pact he signed, and his own self-destructive hatred for himself. Everything is keeping him from living. And in a way, it's a lot like humanity, the very humanity that created the Seven Nation Army, that continues to serve Dorbo, that does horrible things on the island of Doma. But there is a moment when, Mikey, you feel something wet hit your cheek. And then something else, a second drop, and then a third drop. Father Emery, you also start feeling a wetness on your face. You start feeling a very strange precipitation. And then it begins to really outright rain inside of the room that you're in. The rain is refreshing, we'll say relaxing even. You're not sure what this is, but it feels something like a miracle as it begins to fall directly on Lazaro and extinguish the fires that are burning him up. And he actually will open his eyes as the rain is starting to wash away the blood from his wounds. And he's just he looks like he's in shock that he's even still alive. The fringes of his outfit, his hair even, are singed from the fire. But he looks at you, Mikey, and the first thing that he says, quite weakly, is, you're nosy. And then he passes right out. The machines have actually stabilized him because he stopped burning. The phantasm kept his, at least, heart from being completely dead by helping to pump blood. And the materials that Dima applied helped to blunt some of the damage done by the chaotic killing arts that these ninjas have. And the medical goop and knowledge that you've applied have also kept him from dying. But the thing is, the fire would have taken him anyway. The burning would have just sent him up like a funeral pyre. In this moment, though you aren't exactly maybe 100% sure of why the rain started to fall inside of this room, it does recall the incident in the trenches when rain fell inside of a burning building because you helped to save a scared girl. who isn't anywhere near you right now, but maybe is praying for your success and your happiness. Because of that, you are still up one Lazaro, but you still need to get the fuck out of this building. And now you've got a very injured priest and a very injured Lazaro to transport.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, he would, I guess, eventually slowly take him up. Since what he thought might be helpful, just turned out to just everything's antagonistic that these ninjas create. So maybe we're not going to do that anymore. It worked for this, but we don't need it on the way out. But I mean, I think in combination with his like being an Eye Scout, having surveyed the whole building, it is just a very quick like sliding around, like going, following the routes that he knows people should be taking. And if everything's in chaos, people aren't going to be where they're supposed to be. People aren't going to be guarding doors when, in theory, their boss was just assassinated. You got to find the guy or people, So he's probably trying to go as slowly but quickly as possible. He's probably got travelers out, and they are, acting as recon as he helps navigate this bunch out the back door.
Getting Lazaro out along with your group will require, we'll say, a slick roll. Put the passive difficulty at 4. Perfect. Extracting is easier because of the chaos that ensues after the assassination of Endaros. There are people responding. You can actually see security forces sweeping into the area. You also see at some point security forces and military are putting their hands to their earpieces, and they're getting new information coming in. Something is happening. Something big just got reported, and it isn't just the assassination of Endaros. Something else has occurred. For now, you are able to escape with Lazaro and presumably get him to actual medical care somewhere in Vladivostok. There is, of course, an organization that may be able to help, which is why further away from the radio tower, there is a man waiting with a small team, seemingly in anticipation of your exit. That man is familiar. He looks like your friend, Quattro Summits. There are medical personnel there with him. He has a small unmarked ambulance. Just kind of has generic Russian text on it. He is wearing a giant furry coat and a very eccentric furry hat. He holds his arms open as he sees you approach, and he says, "Comrades, job well done."
There's probably just no answer as he gets Lazaro in the back.
Oh, he's not looking very good.
Yeah, let's get him to a hospital, Chief.
Yes, right, of course. I guess I'm the only one who's treating this as a vacation. It's work, work, work for everyone else. As for the three of you,
I feel like you would see several of Mikey's eye stalks all point at at the chief when he says that comment. His head doesn't turn, but the eyes do.
He turns to the three ninjas here. Good work, all of you. You have orders to get to your extraction point. You'll be given new assignments there. Otherwise, I see you're all still alive. So, top notch. He looks at you in particular, Emery. Do you need to go to the hospital as well?
No. Go.
Really?
Protect me.
You are too funny. Very well, then. I assume you all have your means of getting there, and we will be in touch. Until then, there is one dead blonde Italian that we need to take care of, and for once, isn't a supermodel on cocaine. What a nice change of pace. Until then, he kind of gives you all a small salute. Next mission. And then he loads into the back of the ambulance along with you, Mikey, and Lazaro. There are some personnel on hand to begin to, well, just keep Lazaro alive, stabilize him. The chief looks pretty nonchalant about all of this. Um, he actually goes to unscrew a small flask with a hammer and sickle on it. He holds it up. It's vintage souvenir. This is the old communist symbol, it seems. You all right there, De La Cruz?
Mikey's probably got an IV, and Lazaro got like a cuff on him to like check his blood pressure and everything. Like he's got that all like going. And like once that's all set, and he sees like he's got a pulse, it's going. The drip bag's going. There was the line didn't have any air in it. He probably quickly shuffles himself around to the front like passenger seat and sits, and just turns and just goes,
Yeah, now.
Don't tell me you've grown attached to this one. Although he is an operative for Rivers, he's also someone who signed a pact with the Antichrist, probably because he just felt like he was going to hell anyway. He was resigned to die, and I was going to let him. To get things done, of course. Why not kill two birds with one stone? Well, he is charming, I suppose, if you're not annoyed by his various ramblings about things that really haven't been true for almost 2 centuries. You seem like you actually cared about his life, though, which is good.
Yeah, that we shouldn't just.
and he'll take his like hat and kind of shift it down over his face and just kind of like lean back in his seat.
I understand, of course, that it may seem cold just letting him die, but honestly, he should have read the fine print when he signed a deal with the devil. He's going there one way or another. All you've done for now is allowed us to get more uses out of him until the big day comes. I'm not sure he's going to thank you for that.
Uh, he'll probably push his hat up a little with like a finger, and just go,
I don't care. He's still here. That's what matters.
Do you want to know why he actually wanted to work with you so much? It's silly, but I can understand the sentiment.
Because I arrested him earlier.
No, goodness, no. He actually did that on purpose. No, he was actually rather fond of you because he shared a divulge with me. There was a point in his life where he didn't have anyone. I mean, his mother had died, and well, it's all in his file, which he doesn't want anyone to read. But there were some people who took him in. I believe they were called hippies back in the days after World War II. There were quite a few flower children who popped up, afraid of things like, well, war and eventually nukes. And when he had nowhere else to go, because he didn't trust the church, and because he just didn't trust many people, these hippies, all their peace and love seemed like some kind of, I don't know, fantasy, something that just was intoxicating. It made him think that maybe there could be a world where there was no war, no hatred, things like that. And though he'd probably never admit it to you personally, You remind him an awful lot of those hippies in Italy. So, peace and love, I suppose. He gives you the peace sign with his fingers. I think this is how it was done.
Yeah, Mikey will also like throw up the peace sign deuces.
Then that is where your assassination mission ends. Giving the peace sign, keeping Lazaro stable and alive, and of course, killing a man who was a pervert. Somewhere, soldiers are attempting to enter a sealed room where they find the body of Vendaros and Darkness, and perhaps terrifying all of them, an animated sex doll packed with blades, waiting with googly eyes.
Yep.
It is the last thing they see is that doll lunging at them, screaming at the top of its lungs.
Like a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare, just
Yep.
right out through the dark. Just
Oh.
And there you go. Mission complete. Lazaro will likely need a lot of time to recover, but you did save his life. He was fully prepared to die, and I was fully prepared to kill him. But you did it.
we will always befriend the antagonist.
Oh, come on. We all want Lazaro to live.
Yeah, the weird sheet butcher. She can go. I don't care.
You might change your mind when
I'm
you get
kidding.
her backstory.
Oh no! All of their fucking backstories.
Yeah, no, they're all probably terrible. I mean,